You're told to find the one, but nobody teaches you how to build something extraordinary once we find them. You're sold fairy tales, but real love is an art form that requires specific skills, emotional intelligence, and yes, secrets that most couples never discover. I'm Vernon. Today, I'm sharing 4 secrets that turn good relationships into extraordinary ones. The kind that last through storms, seasons, and the quiet years when it's just you two still choosing each other every single day. Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're about to explore territory that could transform how you love and how you are loved in return. Now, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you told your partner a difficult truth with complete love? Because that's where our first secret begins. Number 1. Radical emotional honesty without cruelty. Brené Brown once said, "Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome." And that, my friend, is what radical emotional honesty looks like in practice. Most of us confuse honesty with brutality. We think being real means saying whatever comes to mind, consequences be damned. But true emotional honesty, it's about speaking your truth with love as your guide, not anger or frustration. Trust isn't built on perfection, it's built on authenticity. When you consistently show up as your real self, sharing not just your highlights, but your struggles, your fears, your genuine needs, you give your partner the gift of knowing who they're actually loving. My dear friend Esther, a 61-year-old woman who came to me on the verge of divorce after 32 years of marriage. She'd spent 3 decades swallowing her needs, pretending everything was fine, while resentment built like pressure in a kettle. Her husband genuinely had no idea she was unhappy. How could he? She'd never told him. "Vernon," she said, tears in her eyes, "I don't know how to tell him what I need without destroying everything." Radical emotional honesty requires 3 essential elements: timing, intention, and love-centered delivery. First, timing matters. Esther learned to choose moments when both she and her husband were calm, rested, and emotionally available. She'd say, "I have something important I'd like to share with you. When would be a good time for us to talk?" Second, intention is everything. Before speaking any difficult truth, Esther would ask herself, "Am I saying this to hurt or to heal? Am I seeking to punish or to connect?" This simple check transformed her approach entirely. Third, love-centered delivery means wrapping hard truths in care. Instead of, "You never consider me, you're so selfish," Esther learned to say, "When you make plans without asking me, I feel invisible in our relationship. I need to feel like my input matters because our partnership means everything to me." The difference? The first invites war. The second invites conversation. But radical honesty goes deeper than just addressing problems. It means sharing your dreams even when they seem impossible, your fears even when they seem irrational, your joy even when it seems excessive. It means saying, "I love you" in specific ways. "I love how thoughtful you are when you remember I prefer my coffee extra hot." Within 6 months, Esther's marriage transformed, not because her husband changed overnight, but because she finally gave him the roadmap to her heart. He began sharing more honestly too, creating a beautiful cycle of deeper intimacy. What truth have you been avoiding in your relationship? Drop a yes in the comments if you've ever held back something important because you were afraid of the response. Here's the thing about honesty. It only works when it lands on fertile ground, when there's something soft and safe to catch those vulnerable truths. Number 2. Emotional safety above all else. If emotional honesty is the seed, then emotional safety is the soil where love grows deep roots. People only bring their truest selves where they feel accepted, not judged. Think about it. When do you feel most free to be yourself? When you know your quirks, your fears, and your imperfections will be met with understanding, not criticism. Emotional safety is the invisible foundation that determines whether your relationship becomes a sanctuary or a battlefield. Without it, even the most loving intentions can't take root. With it, ordinary moments become opportunities for extraordinary connection. Maya Angelou captured this beautifully when she said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." In relationships, we remember the feeling of being truly seen and accepted more than any gift or grand gesture. So what does emotional safety actually look like in daily life? It begins with emotional regulation, the ability to stay calm and present when your partner is upset, triggered, or struggling. This isn't about being a doormat, it's about being the steady presence that helps de-escalate rather than amplify storms. It's also reflected in the way you approach sensitive conversations. Questions asked with genuine curiosity open doors, while accusations shut them. Phrases like, "Help me understand your thinking," or "I notice a pattern and I'm curious about it," invite connection far more than, "Why did you do that?" or "You always ever could." And then there's the art of repair, the willingness to own mistakes quickly and specifically. A sincere, "I'm sorry I raised my voice when you were sharing something important with me," goes much further than a vague, "I'm sorry you're upset." I saw this lived out in my own parents' marriage. My father, who had a fiery temper when he was young, slowly learned to bring his frustrations to my mother before they exploded. She didn't excuse bad behavior, but she offered a space where emotions could be expressed safely. When he came home stressed, she'd simply say, "Looks like you've had a rough day. Want to tell me about it?" She made it clear his feelings were welcome, but taking them out on the family wasn't. By their 40th anniversary, friends would ask them their secret. My mother would smile and say, "We made our home a sanctuary, not from the world, but from judgment." So ask yourself, do you feel emotionally safe in your relationship? Can you be completely yourself without fear of rejection? And just as importantly, are you creating that same safety for your partner? Because once that sense of safety is in place, the next secret is what keeps love alive for decades, even long after the first rush of infatuation has settled into something richer and deeper. Number 3. Shared growth and vision. The happiest couples I know have something magical in common. They keep dreaming together, no matter their age. They understand that love isn't just about finding someone you can live with. It's about finding someone you can't imagine growing without. What most people misunderstand about shared growth is that it doesn't mean becoming identical or losing your individual identity. It means consciously choosing to evolve in ways that strengthen your bond while supporting each other's personal development. Shared growth operates on multiple levels. There's intellectual growth, learning new things together, reading books you can discuss, taking classes that challenge both of you. There's spiritual growth,
exploring questions of meaning and purpose together. There's physical growth, committing to health and vitality together, supporting each other's wellness goals. But perhaps most importantly, there's the growth that comes from having a shared vision for your future together. Too many couples fall into maintenance mode. They manage their daily routines, handle their responsibilities, but they stop dreaming together. Strong couples ask themselves powerful questions. What legacy do we want to create together? How do we want to spend our time and energy in this next phase? What adventures do we still want to share? The key is finding the sweet spot between individual growth and shared growth. You need space to pursue your own interests, but you also need shared territory where you're building something together. I've watched couples navigate this beautifully in so many ways. The couple who learned photography together and now document their community's history. The couple who started volunteering at a literacy program and discovered they made a great teaching team. One of my favorite examples comes from my friend Sierra, a 66-year-old woman whose story beautifully illustrates this principle. After her husband retired, she feared they'd drive each other crazy being home together all day. Instead, they discovered a shared passion neither knew existed. It started with a small herb garden in their backyard. Sierra loved cooking. Her husband loved working with his hands. What began as a weekend project turned into something extraordinary. They researched heirloom varieties together, planned their garden seasons, learned about soil composition and companion planting. Sierra told me, "We'd been married 38 years, but starting this garden felt like falling in love again. We were discovering new parts of each other, new dreams we could chase together." The garden was just the beginning. As they got more successful, they started selling their excess produce at the local farmers market. This led to meeting other gardeners, learning about sustainable farming, even taking weekend trips to visit organic farms in neighboring states. What started as a simple hobby became a whole new chapter of their relationship. They weren't just sharing an activity, they were creating a shared vision of who they wanted to become together in this new season of life. They saw themselves as stewards of the earth, as people who could nurture life and bring fresh, healthy food to their community. Viktor Frankl once wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." Couples who grow old together happily have discovered their shared why, their reason for choosing each other again and again. This insight is so crucial. Save this video so you can come back to these principles whenever you need a reminder about what makes love flourish over time. But even the most beautiful shared dreams can be lost without the final secret: how to protect your relationship like the priceless treasure it is.
Number 4, protecting the relationship like a treasure. What would you do if someone gave you a priceless diamond? You'd protect it, wouldn't you? You'd keep it safe, maintain its brilliance, never leave it lying around carelessly. Yet how many of us treat our relationships as carelessly as loose change? Strong couples understand something vital. Your relationship needs active protection from 3 major threats: neglect, distractions, and outside drama. They guard their connection like the treasure it truly is, because they understand that extraordinary love doesn't just happen. It's cultivated, defended, and intentionally nurtured every single day.
Protection from neglect. This is perhaps the most insidious danger because it happens gradually, almost invisibly. Neglect looks like assuming your partner knows you love them without showing it. It's taking their presence for granted, stopping the small gestures that once came naturally, letting routine replace romance. John Gottman, after studying thousands of couples, discovered this truth. The difference between a relationship that lasts and one that doesn't is that couples who last turn toward each other consistently, especially in small moments. Every interaction is either a deposit or withdrawal in your relationship bank account. Protection from neglect means never graduating from the basics of love. It's continuing to say thank you for things your partner does regularly. It's still complimenting them, still showing physical affection, still making eye contact when they're talking to you. It's remembering that the relationship that brought you together still needs the attention that brought you together. Another is protecting your relationship from distractions. In today's hyper-connected world, it's all too easy for your attention to be hijacked. Work emails dinging during dinner, social media pings breaking into your conversations, family crises that demand endless management, and the constant lure of entertainment pulling you in separate directions. Couples who thrive create sacred spaces and times that belong only to each other. This might mean phones go away during the first hour after work, so you can actually reconnect. It might mean Saturday mornings are for coffee and conversation, not rushing into weekend tasks. But protecting from distractions goes deeper than managing technology. It's about understanding that intimacy requires intentional attention. You can't build deep connection while multitasking. Strong couples recognize that their relationship needs to be a priority, not just something that gets leftover time and energy. Next, protection from outside drama. This is perhaps the most challenging because it often involves people you care about. Family members who don't respect boundaries, friends who fuel complaints about your partner, cultural messages that undermine commitment. Healthy couples establish clear boundaries about what voices get input into their relationship. Not every family member, friend, or acquaintance deserves a vote in your love story. When conflicts arise, you turn toward each other first, not toward others who might fuel resentment or misunderstanding. This doesn't mean isolating yourselves. It means being selective about who you invite into your intimate space and being very careful about how you talk about your relationship to others. Complaining about your partner to people who don't love you both equally is a form of betrayal that erodes trust over time. Strong couples develop phrases like, "Thank you for your concern, but we'll handle this privately." They present a united front to the world while working through their private challenges together. When you use all four of these secrets together, you create something rare, a love worth keeping for life. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who values deep, lasting connection. You never know whose relationship might be strengthened by hearing these words today.
If you've made it this far, you now understand the 4 pillars that support extraordinary relationships. Radical emotional honesty that builds trust, emotional safety that creates intimacy, shared growth that deepens connection, and protective boundaries that preserve what you've built. These aren't quick fixes or relationship hacks.
They're the slow, intentional work of building something beautiful that lasts. They require courage, patience, and the daily choice to love well, even when it's not easy. In my decades of watching love stories unfold, I've seen that great relationships aren't about finding the perfect person, they're about becoming the right person for each other, again and again, through every season of life. As Aristotle wisely observed, love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. The most beautiful love stories aren't the ones that start perfectly. They're the ones where two people decide that their love is worth fighting for, worth growing for, worth protecting with everything they have. I'd love to continue this conversation with you. Do you have a question, a personal insight, or a story of your own? Share it in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more wisdom on creating lasting love and deep emotional connection, especially in the beautiful season after 60. You can look in the description for more uplifting videos that I'm sure will resonate deeply with you. Your love story isn't over. It might just be getting ready for its most beautiful chapter yet. And I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching my video.